Hey guys, welcome back to the Giovanni Show. Today I have on Ed. What's up, Ed?
Giovanni, good to see you, bud.
Hey, good to have you on. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, it has. You're looking like you're like 20 years old now. Last time I saw you, you didn't look this old.
Yeah, yeah. Grown a lot since I've been in Indy. So,
Yeah, good times.
yes, sir. Um, so Eagles are in the playoffs. What do they have to do to get ready for this weekend, prepare for this week?
Well, they're playing a familiar opponent, obviously, right? The New York Giants, round three. Can't really count round two. The Giants didn't play any of their starters, but a lot of familiarity here, obviously, because they're in the same division, play each other twice a year. So shouldn't take them too much to get ready. They probably have a game plan in mind, and they're building that now. And they'll be back on the practice field Tuesday. Short week, kind of. I mean, they didn't play this past weekend, but playing Saturday at 8:15, which is pretty cool. Prime time at Lincoln Financial Field. So the fans are going to be fired up. I think the Eagles are going to be fired up, and I think Gio, I think they're out to prove that, hey, we're the number one seed for a reason. I don't think they're getting a whole lot of love going into the playoffs, kind of like 2017, where underdogs and, Lane Johnson's running around in the dog mask and fans are wearing the dog masks. I kind of get a sense that everybody's in love with the 49ers and they don't think the Eagles are going to do anything. And I think the Eagles are going to come out and prove that, hey, we won 14 games and got the number one seed for a reason. So I think they're going to be pretty fired up come Saturday night.
Yeah. I think that we should just break out the masks now.
Yeah.
Let's just bring back the mask this weekend. Ed, I was actually rewatching a podcast that I did with you over the summer, and we all like picked what the Eagles' schedule was going to be, and I said 14-3. So
Ooh.
spot on, and I thought that was pretty cool to have you on today again after we did go 14-3.
Well, listen, man, I'm gonna have you pick me up a lottery ticket out there in Indiana, and I'll send you the $2 or whatever it costs, because that's pretty good prognosticating by you there. 14 wins. I did, that seems, whenever you predict 14 wins, it seems like an awful big number going into a season. So I try to temper. What did I have? Did I have 12? I hope I had 12. I think I had 12.
I had like 12 or 13, I think.
Okay, yeah. So I thought that was a lot, to be honest, at the time, because when you look at the schedule and you don't know what the team's going to look like, and we didn't know Jalen Hurts would take this giant step forward in his development, and then AJ Brown has been everything you'd hoped he'd be when they traded for him. Hassan Reddick on defense, man, 16 sacks in 17 games, 70 sacks as a team. I mean, that's all such exciting stuff, and it's hard to, when you sit there in July and August or April, whenever the schedule comes out, and say, man, yeah, they can do that and they can win 14 games. So I give you credit for that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's a new season now, right? The playoffs, second season, everybody is 0-0, or at least, the teams that lost this past weekend, like the Giants are 1-0 and the Bengals are 1-0. But you know what I mean? Like, it's a new season, and all that stuff that's gone before doesn't matter as much. But the Eagles have proven themselves to be a legitimate team. And I'm really, really excited to see how things unfold on Saturday night. And, you look at some of the injuries they have, a little bit of a concern. Jalen Hurts is still battling that shoulder, and Lane Johnson's going to try to play through a groin injury that's going to need surgery afterward. Avante Maddox is still battling the toe injury, and Miles Sanders' knee still isn't 100%. So hopefully this rest that they had this weekend will serve them well, and these guys will be able to be 100%, no restrictions on the game plan, and be able to prove that, yeah, we won 14 games because Gio said we would, and because we're pretty good.
Yeah, so I was just talking to Connor actually, and I know you guys did a show earlier,
Yeah.
and I heard that you said that you didn't think Lane Johnson would play the entire game.
Mm,
How long do you think he'll play for?
Well, I didn't quite say that. I said my concern is that I mean, we've seen Lane's as tough as they come, right? I mean, he's a tough guy. He's going to try to battle his way through. We've seen him try to do that in previous games, and you admire the courage and the guts and the fortitude, but sometimes the body just says, hey, I can't take this any further. I'm at my limit. So, your intentions are good, but sometimes the body doesn't let you carry out those intentions. Now, I'm hoping that this treatment and that he's received over the past 3-4 weeks now will serve him well, and he'll be able to play 70, 75 snaps, whatever this Eagles offense is going to need to win on Saturday. But I do have a concern that it could be a situation where we've seen before where he kind of limps out after 6 plays, 10 plays, to no fault of his own. It's just his body telling him, hey, Lane, you can't do it, man. I just can't give you that extra that you want. That's my fear, is that he's going to not be able to play all the snaps required on Saturday night. And I hope not. I hope this concern is unfounded and he gives everything he has and he answers the bell. And then, because the good news, Gio, is they play Saturday night. And if they win, then they have that extra day before they play again. They're not playing on Sunday and then having to turn around the following Sunday in the championship game should they win. They have that extra day to kind of get some rest and some treatment that extra day, and that could be very valuable. But they have to win first, and I hope Lane is a big part of that and answers the bell and plays every single snap. I know he's going to try because that's the way he is, and that's the type of player and person he is.
Yeah, we have the toughest O-line in the league.
Yeah. Jason Kelce's played through stuff. I mean, listen, everybody at this stage of the season's playing through little, bumps and bruises and aches and pains, and it's just a matter of what you can manage. And this Eagles line is tough. There's no doubt. I mean, Simalu, Dickerson, Mailata had the shoulder injury early in the season. I think it's still probably affecting him. He's still playing with a harness on. But this is what guys are doing, man. They're accountable, they're committed, and they're trying to do something special.
Yeah. And I think there will be something special to come of this. But I think that we just got to take it a day at a time. Just take it a day at a time. Don't focus on that big Super Bowl victory. Just focus on this week against the Giants. Focus on hopefully using Boston Scott, because he is always killing the Giants.
Yeah, he must have been grinning from ear to ear when the Giants beat the Vikings and realized, hey, we're playing the Giants again, and I have 10 of my career touchdowns. He has 17 career touchdowns, 10 have come against the Giants. He must have been like, yeah, baby, bring it on. Yeah. But you got the coaching speak down. If you ever want to be a coach, that day-to-day thing, I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I'd be sitting on an island somewhere and, but yeah, you're right. And that's Nick Sirianni's approach is, let's do this thing day by day. You can't think about, the Super Bowl, right? Because you have to get past this first game first. You can't think, who are we going to – the 49ers might come in here. That's going to be a tough game to win the NFC. But you can't think about any of that. You can only think about, like you said, today, how am I going to get better today? How about tomorrow? What am I going to do to get better? And then you build and you stack until it's game day, and then you cross that bridge. And then when that's over, back to square one, build. So that's all you can do. And listen, this team is full of good veteran players, Kelce, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Lane Johnson, guys that won a Super Bowl 5 years ago. They know what it takes. They are the role models, and they're the ones that set the example in that locker room, and they understand that philosophy, and they're imparting it to guys that haven't been here before. And you hope that these guys learn their lesson and will take that approach. I think they will. I don't think they're looking too far ahead. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, that no truer words are spoken, man. It's such a cliche, but it's so right, man. One day at a time. That's all you can worry about.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So I know that you're sick right now, but have you been able to go into the locker room or talk to any of the guys lately? What is their mindset right now?
Yeah. Do I look sick, Gia? Do I look real bad? I mean, I haven't shaved for a little while, but huh?
You look good.
Thanks. I didn't hear you. What was that? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't go. I missed the last game. I started feeling sick last Sunday, so I tested. I tested positive, so obviously I stayed away. I don't want to be the reason why the Eagles are testing positive for COVID as the playoffs are starting. You know, I don't want to be part of that story. So I stayed away. I didn't go. They had practice Thursday and Friday. But, you know, I have someone that writes for me, John McMullen, and I have friends that also write, and we're in that locker room, and they really relayed to me that, yeah, the Eagles are taking that approach you mentioned. It's day by day. I think they're excited. We're going to get back in the locker room tomorrow. I'll be back in there tomorrow. It's been 11 days now since I tested positive. I think I'm okay. I'm going to wear a mask. But, you know, I would expect I'm going to be asking them what they think about this respect or lack of respect that is really starting to develop. I know they're favored by a touchdown against the Giants, but still, everybody's in love with the 49ers. Everybody's in love with Tom Brady and the Dallas Cowboys, and they're not giving the Eagles a chance, I don't think. So I'm going to ask them about that. I'm going to see what their mindset is, what their thoughts are on that, and how they're approaching this week. Because like we said earlier, it is a familiar foe. This will be their third meeting in the last 6 weeks. Their first one was December 11th, and the Eagles won that one pretty handily. And then round two really didn't count on January 8th, I think it was. So here we are, January 21st. They're going to tee it up again, and we'll see how they feel about, you know, going against players they know, like Daniel Jones. He had a great game against the Vikings, I thought. He ran for 78 yards, threw for 301. Vikings didn't seem ready for him in the run game, but I think the Eagles know what Daniel Jones is and what he can do, and I think they'll be ready for him. So, you know, there'll be a lot of talk about that and the opponent, the familiarity, the respect. You know, I can't wait. I can't wait to fire it all up and see what they have to say.
Yeah. So you mentioned last game against the Giants, playing against their second strings. We looked kind of rough against them. Are you worried, or you think we got it still?
Well, I think they kind of tiptoed through that game. They didn't want to get too many guys hurt. They got out to the 19-0 lead, and then Davis Webb first start tried, you know, he found his footing a little bit. They scored the late touchdown to make it a little closer than it looked. But you know, the Giants aren't going to try an onside kick like they tried to start the second half in the playoffs, I don't think. But yeah, it's a little concerning, but I don't think the Eagles did a lot game planning, or not game planning, but I think with the game plan, they wanted to kind of keep Jalen Hurts as protected as they could. So they took away a lot of his zone read stuff. And, you know, a big part of Jalen's game is the zone read and the way he uses his legs. So you take those legs away, which they tried to do. They didn't want him to get hurt. That's a big part of the game, you know, and I would go in this game with no restrictions on him whatsoever. There are no tomorrows. You know, you lose, you're done. You know, you go in, pedal to the metal, full game plan, no restrictions on Hurts. What I'd like to see, Gio, is I watched a lot of the Rocky Marathon that was on during my quarantine this past week. And there was one of the episodes, I don't know, maybe number 2, where, you know, Rocky's a left-handed fighter. And in the middle of the fight, he switches to being a right-handed guy, and it screws the other guy he's fighting all up because he's not expecting that. It'd be kind of cool to see, like, the Eagles be a little vanilla with Jalen on the first couple series, don't do a lot of read option stuff, and the Giants are thinking, okay, he's not going to run, they're going to protect him. And then bam, take the read option stuff, take the cover off of it, and start hitting them with the legs. And the Giants would be like, whoa, wait a minute, what hit us here? So I'd kind of like to see that, you know, a little bit of, you know, rope-a-dope, if you will, with Jalen in the run game. But it was a vanilla game plan, I think, in that meeting against the backups. A little bit of concern. I think the big issue was the red zone offense. They're the number 1 ranked red zone offense in the league, but they only had 1 touchdown and 5 trips there. And I think a lot of that was because the threat of Jalen running the ball just wasn't there. I mean, this is a quarterback that scored 13 rushing touchdowns this year. That's huge. But they didn't want to put him in harm's way. So they kind of did what they had to do. They took the field goals when they needed, just trying to build that lead. But I think Saturday we're going to see a different game plan, and I think they're going to come out with Jalen back using his legs.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it, because it's always like when we use Jalen with his legs, it's unstoppable.
It's fun to watch.
there's no game plan that could stop him.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch a big, strong guy like that, be able to pick up yards on the ground. And don't think his teammates don't appreciate that too. When he's able to cover up and kind of get out of the pocket if a play breaks down on the O line and Jalen's there to kind of bail him out and pick up some yards. And then even on the design stuff, those quarterback draws and the read option sweeps to the edge. I mean, it's fun to watch, and you're right, it's hard to stop.
And I mean, how many people can say my quarterback squats 600 pounds?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say that about many people in my life. I'll tell you that right now. I never came close to 600. But yeah, that's huge. I mean, it's so strong. When you hit them from the waist down, it probably literally is like hitting a tree, trying to put your shoulder into a tree and get it to move. So yeah, that's a pretty amazing number. I just don't know how anybody can do that, to be honest, but I'd love to see him in the weight room. Would love to see him do that. Because I love watching the weightlifting stuff. When you go to the combine, I like watching the bench pressing drills and seeing what these guys can do with the bench. But yeah, pretty cool number, man. 600 squat. I'll take that. Not many quarterbacks can do it. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure. So Ed, CJ Gardner-Johnson is coming back this game, correct?
Yeah. He was back the last game, right? He played every snap. Yeah.
So what are you thinking? CJ Gardner-Johnson comes back this game. You think he makes some plays?
Yeah, I think he makes some plays. I think, listen, Daniel Jones has done a good job taking care of the football this year. He's only thrown 5 picks, hasn't fumbled near as much as he has. So it's not going to be easy. But plays come in different forms. It doesn't have to be an interception. It can be a big tackle in a big moment, a key breakup, a pass breakup. And yeah, I think having him out there is huge for this defense, no doubt. I mean, they did okay without him in there. I know they lost twice, but they didn't have, Jalen at the quarterback. So that was part of it. But, he is a big part of this defense. And if he wants his $17 million per year contract, he's going to be play hunting. He's going to want to get a play in there and say, see what I can do? Yeah, pay me that 17 million. I'll be happy to come back. But yeah, I think he'll make an impact. Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, he's one of my favorite players, always making plays on defense. So
yeah,
happy to have him back.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you think he had 6 interceptions, which tied for the league lead, and he missed 5 games. I mean, he could have been a 10 interception guy if he would have played those 5 games. Certainly would have had more than 6, I think. I think he would have at least had another one, maybe 2 or 3. But that's amazing when you think about it. That he had 6 picks, most in the league, tied for most in the league, and he missed 5 games.
It's crazy. He called himself the Flash. So that has some meaning to it. He always gets to the ball.
Yeah, always flashes.
Yeah. Ed, thank you so much for coming on, man.
My pleasure, Gio. Anytime, man. It's good to see you. Good to talk to you. You look good. And congratulations on the 14-win prediction. I love it. Do you have any Super Bowl predictions? You think the Eagles are going to do it?
I think they are going to do it. I think it might be a Eagles-Bills Super Bowl.
That'd be fun.
Could you imagine those two fan bases colliding? Bills Mafia and us? Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and the Fly Eagle Fly group out there in Arizona where it's warm. The Eagles never go to a city in the Super Bowl where it's like warm. Like, remember they went to Minnesota in 2017. The temperature was barely above 0 in that one. I was there. It was just brutally cold. And then in 2005, it was down in Jacksonville where it was like a balmy 42 degrees all week, just terrible. So yeah, it'd be cool to go to the desert where I imagine in February the temperatures will be, where comfortable, 70-ish, 80-ish, maybe be able to get some pool time in. But yeah, I like it. Good prediction. I think you might be onto something. It could be Bills Eagles, and that'd be so much fun. Even the Chiefs Eagles would be fun with Andy Reid and whatnot. Pretty cool matchup this weekend with Andy Reid against Doug Peterson.
I can't wait for that. I think that the Chiefs versus Eagles Super Bowl would be crazy too, because Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, like that would be so cool.
Yes, that's right. There's that angle too. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I hope one of those scenarios happens for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much once again, Ed. It's always a blast having you on.
My pleasure, Gio. Stay well, buddy.
Thank you.